In mission together we all join our hands. In mission together throughout many lands. With our hearts united, our voices we raise to God our Creator in glorious praise.
Hello, welcome to Reflections. My name is Zack Browning. I'm the preaching minister at the Reedland Christian Church, and I'm here hosting our episode of Reflections. Reflections is a television show put on by the Paducah Cooperative Ministry. Their mission is to do God's work with human hands, and we are spotlighting the different ministries that are part of Paducah Cooperative, things that God is doing, and we're going to explore what God's doing on the Murray State campus today. I have three campus ministers that are with us today. We're going to talk a little bit about what campus ministry is, how you guys are working in it, just a lot of different things. So introduce yourselves. We'll start with you, Mark.
Sure. My name is Mark Whitt. I'm campus minister with Baptist Campus Ministry, known as BCM, and a lot of people in the past knew BCM as BSU, Baptist Student Union, but about 5 years ago we changed the name across the state. So Baptist Campus Ministry, I've been there for 11 years also, and I'm a Murray State grad, so I'm home.
Very cool. Very cool.
My name is Allie Loomis. I work with the Catholic Campus Ministries. Newman House is what it's known as on campus, excuse me. And I've only been here for the year. I am a transplant from Wisconsin, so I'm finding a new home on Murray State's campus.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool. Mike?
I'm Mike Kerrick with Murray Christian Fellowship. This is my second year at Murray State, and it's been a neat transition from congregational ministry into campus ministry. But
that's an interesting transition. I definitely want to talk about that, and I think that's something maybe we can open up with. Being a preaching minister, growing up in a church, I went to State University and didn't really have an on-campus ministry that I was part of. Some people don't really grasp what campus ministry is all about. How do you guys approach campus ministry from a philosophy standpoint, and also from just a day-to-day deal? What are some things that you guys really see as being an important part of the campus ministry?
go ahead, Senior.
Well, Senior. One aspect we believe that the campus ministry is an extension of the church. Kentucky Baptist Convention has sponsored collegiate ministry for years. They believe that our presence upon the campus is extremely important. And so to have an opportunity to be with students and walk with them during a huge transitional time in their life, and a presence on the campus, and really helping them understand who God has made them and who they have an opportunity to impact the world in ways that sometimes they've not been challenged in those ways of thinking outside of the box in some ways that they can be a part of campus. But we are very much a part of the church, and I think that it's extremely important for people to understand that campus ministry is an extension of the church. We're the presence of the church on the campus.
Okay, all right. So you're not having your own church service per se. It's you're a part of the church reaching out, and just being on campus.
Exactly.
All right, that's good. That's excellent.
One of the neat things about Murray Christian Fellowship is it started out as we're part of a non-denominational movement with the Christian Churches of Christ, and as the students at Murray State back about 40 years ago came together. And as they graduated and started to produce families and such, an actual local church congregation came out of Murray Christian Fellowship, a Christian community church. Excellent. So it's kind of like the opposite, not only do the local congregations support a campus ministry like the BCM, but this one actually produced a local congregation of people who stay in Murray and have graduated from Murray State. So there's definitely a direct tie between the two.
Very cool, very cool. Now, Allie, you're part of the Catholic campus ministry there. Do you have a particular parish that sponsors you, or is there a larger body? Or
We do. Well, we're sponsored by the Diocese of Owensboro. That's our big sponsor, if you will, but the St. Leo Catholic Church in
Okay.
Murray is our home parish. We have a house, but we don't have a church of our own, so we use the parish. They adopt us, and they really spoil us. So it's a good dynamic. The influence that the college students then get to have on the younger parishioner families and such, and then in turn the families really do adopt and become part of our ministry and really appreciate the energy that the students bring into the parish.
Very cool. So I'm picking up from you guys that basically you are ministering to campus students on campus, but you're trying to blend in with a local church to get them connected.
Very much so.
I think that is a blessing, a big blessing. I know, just knowing a little bit about your background, Mike, it's not just one church that sponsors you. You've got, what is it, 20? Is it?
Right around 15 to 20.
Yeah,
it
somewhere
kind of
in there.
flexes.
That you know, they're going to be financial sponsors. They send people to be on board to to be represented. Are you along the same lines to where you have multiple congregations that have input into that?
Locally, we have in the Murray and Marshall County areas, Callaway County and Marshall County are our primary supporting churches locally for the local aspect of our ministry. But then on a state level, we're also supported through the Kentucky Baptist Convention, the cooperative program. Basically, churches all over the state of Kentucky help support through the cooperative program, through giving money in their church. Then that money supports different ministries all over the state and all over the world, and campus ministry happens to be one of those. So we're supported locally, but then also on a state level also.
One of the neat things about the BCM too, with that, which I like and I take advantage of every now and then, is that local Baptist churches sponsor a lunch. It kind of goes into your other part of your question as far as what do we do on a weekly basis. So I know $1 lunch, which is cheap,
which goes to missions.
good food. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like potlucks every Wednesday.
Baptists
so,
know how to do potluck.
They do. And that's another way that the local church for you guys are directly involved with the students' lives, and it's just it's an amazing witness there.
Very cool.
So,
Very cool.
which I really like.
Now I'm assuming this. I don't know for you guys, but I know from Mike. Are all of you full time? This is your only job. You don't have anything outside of that. This is a not just a ministry, but a profession for you.
It's a career.
That's excellent. How long have you been doing campus ministry before you were doing this here at Murray?
Yes, I've been on University of Louisville's campus for a couple of years as an associate, and then also Virginia Tech for a little while, but then came to Murray actually as a minister of youth, and then a minister of youth and college students at a local church, and then transitioned into this role at Murray State. I've been there for 11 years now. It's a full-time job.
Very cool. Now you're new. Have you done ministry of any kind before this? Or?
Nope, this is my first full-time job. But I also do, I direct the religious education at St. Leo's as well. So I kind of am involved with the youth, like Mark started. And so it's a good balance for me to see where my talents lie and gifts. So that's been fun. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster this first semester. But I was really active I went to a Franciscan university in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I was very active in the campus ministry, being a religious studies major. So that really got my feet wet, and my passion started to grow, and I knew that it was something that I could do, for a while. So
very cool, very cool. Now, Mike, you've been here for a couple of years, and what's your ministry background? What's that look like?
Well, it's been a really patchwork quilt. It seems like I've done some mission. Went through engineering school for a year, and then transferred to a Bible college, and then went through seminary right after that. And during those 9 years or so of schooling, had several youth ministry internships and some mission cross-cultural internships. And I was married, which was a neat thing for me, and started in a local church doing youth work. And while we were there, it's interesting, Eastern Illinois University, it's an OVCC conference here, and we were involved with the campus ministry there, just with our high school students coming and checking it out. And so I've been on campuses, 3 or 4 different campuses, following our educational careers.
And you were at Northern Illinois University.
Illinois.
You were there when the shooting happened, weren't you?
That's
So
right.
you've had opportunity to counsel
Yeah.
with rough situations and good
Yeah,
situations.
it's been intense experiences with that. So my wife's, I got to brag on her, I guess. So, but she's part of Murray State's counseling department too. So we look at it as a real joint effort, you know, to minister to the students in their lives and how they go through struggles and then dream dreams and kind of get to know who they are. That's the big thing, trying to find out who they are.
Very cool, very cool. So, given that you're not a church unto itself, and you're not having, you know, church services per se, what we would perceive as, you still do have like a worship meeting, you know, say different nights. Talk a little bit about what, if I was to come into your campus ministry a night that you were having worship, what's that going to look like? Is it going to be vastly different from a church? Is it, you have your own flavor, a little mixture of both? What does that look like for you guys?
It's definitely its own flavor. I think that for students coordinate the worship. That it's really theirs. They really have an opportunity to really take that in the direction that they want. And we have a praise band. Pretty high energy when you come into a worship. That on a Thursday night we have a Thursday night worship, and so. On Thursday evenings, we have a building on campus too, and so students come to our building, and usually we go through 3-week series, and we're in a series right now about love and really what does love mean, and so we teach in series. I usually teach. Usually we'll have different people come in every once in a while, and so the students hear a little different voice every once in a while, but that's primarily what we look like on a worship service. But we always invite people to come be a part of that, our local churches, and because I think they need to see that students are very excited about worship, and it's a neat part for them to see.
Very cool, very cool, excellent. What do you guys look like?
For us, it looks a lot like a typical Catholic Mass. We have Mass Sunday nights and Wednesday nights with our students, always with a meal. Bring them,
right,
draw them in with the food, and then feed them spiritually.
Yeah,
So the music's probably one of the most different aspects of our Mass, but besides that, it's pretty typical, except for the average age of those participating.
Cool.
So.
Cool. Now, are you delivering some of the messages? Is there
I'm
somebody?
not. We have a full-time priest, Father Jason McClure. He is the pastor at St. Leo's, and then he is the director of the Newman House.
Okay.
So he's got his feet in both worlds as well, a lot like these guys. So yeah, he's the one up there talking. I get to sit in the pew and listen. So.
Excellent. Excellent.
You get to maintain the relationships with the students a lot
Yeah.
more directly.
Yes,
That's really
very
neat. So
true.
you have an interesting position as
Yeah.
you're feeding the students on a personal level, but then you also get fed by being able to listen to sermons and being partaking in the Mass.
Yeah, I
That's
get to participate and witness all at the same time.
cool.
So.
Very neat. Very neat. Mike, what is your meetings
Well,
look
MCF is really neat because we're a smaller group on campus, and so that affords us a lot of flexibility with doing things. Like this Wednesday, we meet on Wednesday nights for our large group synergy, is what we call it, and we'll be doing like a dramatic reading and just some sharing about the resurrection during this Lenten time, preparing for Easter. So, but we typically have worship, student band worship, and then I preach, and we have prayer and share time, and so it's kind of like what everybody's used to on Sunday mornings, but it's just on a student level, student perspective. And then Sunday nights we have intense Bible study where we kind of get into the cultural and the original language and things like that. We call it meat and potatoes. We get down and dirty and kind of dig in, and that's interesting. We've got small groups that happen on Thursday nights and a Friday night event because we're college students. We like to have fun together. So we've got a full week, and I know you guys have similar schedules with that too. But
Cool. You mentioned you have kind of a smaller group. What's an average number in attendance at your worship service?
we're in the high 30s
High
with
30s.
a chance of rain. So we run around 30.
Around
30,
30. Allie,
40,
what do you
like that.
guys do with your group?
It depends on the event, because since we are directly involved with St. Leo's, they have an opportunity to participate in the masses that are offered for the parishioners. So there's Saturday night and then 2 Sunday morning, and then we have ours Sunday night. So throughout the span of the 4 masses offered on a Saturday, Sunday, if you will, I would say we probably have 200 students.
Oh wow!
But on a Sunday night, which are the ones coming to dinner, and also Wednesday nights, it's probably closer to 30 to 50. Depending on the week. So
that's cool. So you've
That's
got a
neat.
larger group and an intimate
our
group.
groups really fluctuate, and it's sometimes one of the challenges in our ministry then is to look at the bigger picture all the time. Constantly being like, well, we are reaching more students, but sometimes I just don't have a personal relationship with them. They don't come to our Bible studies, they don't come to our worship, our masses, but they're here, they're present, and we are reaching them.
Do you think that's when the families kind of kick in adopting the student?
Definitely.
Because there's that intergenerational mix that we don't necessarily have.
Definitely. I feel that even if it's just the little things throughout, they definitely are ministered to, and they can see the witness of families and other people who are actively living their faith, who have, who after college there is faith, and that it's a lifetime journey, and that it doesn't stop. You never stop. And
Very cool. Mark, depending on what you guys are doing or what meeting is going on, how many are you campus kids do you think you're serving?
We, on a Thursday night, we usually have 150, 175 students for our worship, but throughout the week we have we call them spiritual formation groups, which is discipleship, small group studies that meet all throughout the week, and then Mike mentioned the luncheon that we do on Wednesdays, and we 250, 300 students probably per week that we interact with, and also with students that we do different Bible studies within the residential colleges at Murray, where the students live. And sometimes those students never step foot into our building, but it's an opportunity for us to be a presence in their life through Bible studies and where the students live.
What's a neat opportunity that you guys have being on campus is that just because somebody isn't in your building doesn't mean you're not having an opportunity to minister. I know I run into that as a preacher from a congregation. We run on great Sundays 85 to 90 people, yet there's days when I'm out at the hospitals, when I'm out visiting with folks, that I'm going to run into people that might never set foot in our building, yet it's an opportunity to minister with them, to pray with them, to share a word from God, read some scripture, teach a little bit. There's a lot of opportunity that's out there, and you guys have kind of a very localized target, a good bullseye to just jump out there and really throw it out.
Mark, talk a little bit about your international students, because that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that has been something that has been so close to my heart for several years. Our international students, we have anywhere between 400 to 500 international students on Murray State's campus, which is a great opportunity. The world has come to us, and so often those international students, they want American friends. They want people to even live with, roommates, and so that has been a huge focus of our ministry for several years of language partners with international students. They want to learn English, and to be able to sit down with them and over a cup of coffee and practice their English, but then what happens in the relationships there. We've had several international students come to Christ over the past several weeks, and it's as a result of some of our American students that have just invested in them over and over and over again, and those relationships have happened. So international ministry is a huge part of who we are. And that's part of my heart too.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. And I know, ministering to international students that come in is definitely a big part. And I know, Mike, the campus ministry that you serve has been big on not only bringing as many people in as they can, but also going out and serving internationally. They've been to different places in Africa. They've been to Brazil,
Mexico,
and then also
things,
ministries in here. Is that something that I know you haven't had a chance to? Have you been out of the country?
Not with Murray Christian Fellowship, but
is that something you want to continue to do? It's kind of an outreach.
Been around the world a little bit. Yeah. That's a big focus. That's actually one of the things about campus ministry that I really appreciate is the missional idea of it. Is not only is campus ministry a missional kind of extension of the church onto a university campus. But, as you minister to the international students, they then take the faith back to their home countries. And that's just a beautiful dynamic. I love it. And one of the ways that we at Murray Christian Fellowship want to kind of foster that sense of going and sending and that dynamic is doing mission trips. And since I've been the lead campus minister there, we're trying to do a cycle of here within the States. We go out to Arizona to a Navajo reservation and minister to the people there. This spring break, we're going to be heading to inner city St. Louis to do some inner city work. And then the following year will be a cross-cultural experience out of the States.
Cool.
There's several different possibilities that we have there. But I know you guys both, your groups do a lot of mission work throughout the year. I think not just specifically one time. So.
How does your campus ministry, Allie, to kind of pinpoint not necessarily international students, but really anybody, and try to get them to come in? Because I know sometimes with international students you want to build relationships, and other times you focus. What's a good way that you guys try to rake folks in and say, hey, come be a part of what we're doing?
That's been a really big learning process for me, being new to campus ministry, and that being a student within a campus ministry leadership team is a lot different than being the one who has the vision. So I've been learning a lot and taking cues from my fellow campus ministers on campus. It's been a blessing to be able to work with them. We have a United Campus Ministry Association on campus, and to be able to come together once a month and plan events together, but to pray together and to just check in with each other and to build those relationships and friendships it's been really beneficial for me as a new campus minister. And so one thing that I took from Mark is to go to there's a coffee shop on campus, and I go there and I'll sit there for a couple hours a week, which isn't hard for me to do. I love coffee and such, but to try to engage new students, or just creating a more personal relationship with my students that already participate, and then their friends will come. I'm sitting at Hart Coffee Shop, come, and they'll come and sit, and we'll just the conversations that take
Just
place,
share
and
life,
and to minister without ministering is kind of a beautiful thing to be able to do.
It's definitely a less threatening situation,
Yeah.
is like, hey,
Yeah.
the preacher is here, the pastor is here,
Exactly.
we'd like to have some discussion
Well,
as
and-
opposed to coffee.
Yeah, and within the Catholic Church, a lot of times, first it's new for a woman. Sometimes some people have never experienced a female campus minister within the Catholic Church, and so to be able to have that conversation, and I don't have a collar on, and it's a lot less threatening maybe, or they have had a bad experience with male figures, so they can't reach out to a male minister or priest. So it's been, those doors have opened, and that's been beautiful for me to be able to have those conversations with, well, what are you? If you're Catholic, you're not a priest. So, what education do you have, and where are you okay with that being a priest? Conversations like that have been good and fruitful.
Very cool.
So.
Very cool. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left, and I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to kind of just discuss some stuff. Maybe we can eavesdrop in, but just some questions that you guys have for each other in terms of campus ministry, how you do things. I know you're all familiar with each other because you have those meetings.
I want Mark as our president of UCM to speak because that's a unique thing.
Sure.
That really is. Being on a couple other university settings, it's our relationship is very strong. Very unique.
We have something very special at Murray. I think that, and I too, being on some other campuses, never had this with other campus ministries, but we have an organization called United Campus Ministries Association. There are 11 different campus ministries. We represent 3, but 11 different campus ministries of denominationally, of non-denominational, but all campus ministries at Murray State that we work together, and we're all friends.
Yeah,
and
we
and
really
I think
are.
that's an incredible thing for students
awesome.
to see. That because so often maybe their background has been, well, we don't like that church over there, or and those. So it's really new sometimes for students to see that Mike and I are fantastic friends, that I'll see Allie in the coffee shop, and we sit down and we talk, and those kind of things I think is so important for students to see that we are the body of Christ. We represent maybe different areas, but it's an incredible thing for students to see.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And we have talked pretty frequently about how special what we have in Murray is, and we're blessed.
That's excellent.
And Mark has a lot more resources sometimes at the BCM, or some of the other campus ministries are doing different activities, social activities, or outreach to the community or things like that. So to be able to say, okay, BCM is doing this week, and you can go. Like, it's open to everyone.
Sure.
You don't have to be someone who goes to BCM every week to participate in it. You can go and participate, and it's just, it's really nice to be able to have more resources than we can provide to our own ministry.
I mean, it's really neat that, obviously in your own personal settings, you're going to be preaching the gospel and you're going to be reading the word, but to, first of all, devote yourself completely to campus ministry. You're obviously living that great commission that Christ asked us to do before he left the planet, was go into all nations, and you are definitely among all nations. You've got a wide range, but then to take it a step further and show, when Christ prayed, I want them to see you and know that you are my disciples by the love that you show. And that's, I see that. There's a lot of times that you get into, well, I don't like this church, or they don't believe the way that we do, or they don't have this part, of our service that we are just passionate about. And to have those walls broken down and to say, look, maybe we just need to agree to disagree, and to show the love of Christ, that is just phenomenal. That's awesome.
I think a lot of times it's not so much agree to disagree, but it's let's agree to worship Jesus.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah, and so we come together more on our agreeings than in our disagreements.
And even in those disagreements, it's neat to talk about things. I know I've, coming from the Stone Campbell tradition that Mike and I come from, we are passionate about certain things, and to hear other ideas of why folks don't see it the same way as we do, it's not that there's a wrong and a right, it's okay, I see where you're coming from, and you're exploring that.
Appreciation, I think, that we can find within each other.
Excellent. Guys, this has been great. I really want to thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I just want to wish you guys well. I know we are praying for Mike's ministry because he's a part of our campus, outreach, and we support him, but I'm definitely going to add you guys to my prayer list. It's neat to see that there's this unity among you guys. And we thank you for joining us here on Reflections. Paducah Cooperative Ministry has been sponsoring this show for a number of years, and we're glad that you can be here with us and just kind of listen to the conversation that we've had. There's been a lot that's said that is good. And I think that to see these different ministries coexisting and knowing that there's a point to what they're doing is what exactly Paducah Cooperative is all about. And that's something that we look forward to sharing here on the show of Reflections. We thank you for being here. If you'd like to take a look at this online, we encourage you to go to the website Paducah, then the number 2.org. Go over to the video section and scroll down to where it says Reflections, and you can see this show, some other shows that have been previously taped, and we encourage you to do that. But with this being said, I'm really glad to have you guys here, and it's neat to see God's work being done with human hands. That's what we are about PCM, and that's what this is about too. So thank you for being with us, and God bless you.
In mission